Hello everybody and welcome back. I am the Sovereign and this is my court. If this is your first time in attendance, welcome. Please consider hitting the subscribe button before you leave our kingdom. So, we are back discussing the pre-competition events of Miss Universe Philippines, and I am going to have to say that I am greatly enjoying the extended amount of time that I am getting to observe and get to know the contestants. And I have peeped, heard, seen a few envious fans. And for those of you that are just a little bit jealous of the amount of attention that the Philippines is getting, I have to say or remind you that I have on many occasions, through many different years, advocated for other nations to follow the path and example of Miss Universe Philippines. I would love to see this amount of attention and activities done in other countries with other women. I would love to see and get to know the Colombians, the Venezuelans, the Mexicans, because I saw someone's like, can we do Miss Mexicana Universal? And I'm like, I would love to give the same amount of attention to other countries. If only other countries would give me as a fan the amount of attention that the Philippines gives me. The Philippines really does the most when it comes to giving their contestants the spotlight, giving their contestants just publicity. These girls really get to engage with their audience, and the fans are given the privilege to get to know the contestants other than the 2 days that they're competing in preliminary and finals competitions. Miss Universe Philippines really extends the length of their competition so that the women can really get the most out of their involvement. So whether they win or not, they really are able to showcase their abilities and who they are as people to the world. The Miss Universe Philippines organization really does spoil me as a fan. They give me a lot of content, a lot of different ways to look at the women, a lot of different ways to get to know the women. And in return, obviously, I give them my attention. If other countries were to follow suit, I would totally be there. Like, you guys know, I am a sucker for some pretty girls that can speak and wow me. I will be paying attention to any country who really gives me the ability to see their women in different lights and gives me more time to get to know them. I would very much like to do the same thing with other countries, if only the other countries would give me the opportunity. So, Miss USA, you know, Colombia, Venezuela, Netherlands, France, hell, any other countries out there, okay? Namibia. If we are given more activities and ways to get to know the women, I will totally be there. And for you fans down there, if there is a country that you want to pay more attention to, you want a spotlight to be shown on them, I cannot be everywhere, okay? I am literally trying to pay attention to like more than 100 different countries and at least 3 major competitions. That is hundreds of different ladies spanning the globe. I'm gonna need a little help there. So if you guys see something special going on in pageant world in a different country, feel free to DM me on Instagram and let me know. You guys know that I have no problem spotlighting other countries. We all love contestants. We all love the competition. We're here for the love of the game, so the more, the merrier. And yes, my hair is brown today. Don't panic. You guys know I'm never gonna be entirely rid of white hair because we all know it's my thing, right? But I just have to, you know, I show people different sides of me, different versions of me. And lo and behold, no matter what I do with my hair, I still look like a Black woman. Imagine that. So, we are here discussing the interview challenge for Miss Universe Philippines. Interview always shakes up the favorite list. We all love a performance queen. We all love a woman that can turn, that can slay, that can give face. But as pageant fans, we all acknowledge that that is not the only thing that matters in the game. You also have to have the gift of gab, the speaking ability, the charm, the charisma. It makes no sense for you to be able to attract an audience to you with pretty looks and pretty turns, but once you have an audience, you have nothing to say. You have no knowledge to impart to the world, nothing to teach the fan base. What's the point of you having a crown then, right? So the interview portion is one of the most important aspects of any pageant. It's also one of the most difficult aspects of any pageant. Not only do you have to think on your toes, you really have to be worldly, you have to be knowledgeable, you have to be intellectual, you have to be comfortable in front of a camera, you have to be comfortable in front of an audience. You have to be at ease in a way that most people just can't manage. And I have to say, I threw a little bit of a fit on Instagram. This is why it's important for you guys to just check in on my Instagram, because my day-to-day activities, the day-to-day thoughts that pop into my head, sometimes I throw up on Instagram. And for those of you that are smart enough to be following me, you saw as I was watching the interview challenge, and I had on my phone the top 4 girls that were chosen as supposed winners of this challenge. I have to be totally honest, okay? I have never been more out of line with a fan base, with a judging panel, except for maybe Miss USA in the past 5 years before Crystal Stewart, because I don't know what they were doing. And even still, the people that were chosen as favorites, some of them are good, but some of the women that were overlooked, it's comical. I almost want to say you guys are punking me, right? For some of the women that that I thought did so good, for them not to be on that list, not one of them, not one of my top 5, 6, not one of them are in the top 4 supposed winners of the challenge. I really see this as a great miscarriage of justice. Like, I was really floored when I went back and checked and rechecked, and I'm like, what were some people looking at that I wasn't looking at? And I have heard that there have been some contestants in Miss Universe, when Philippines sends their contestant to Miss Universe, they don't always have the most confidence when it comes to interview. I've heard some behind the scenes things from what's going on in interview. And maybe, possibly, this is one area that Miss Universe Philippines wants to look at. Because based on what I'm seeing from the supposed winners of the challenge, the people that you're looking at as actual winners of interview is not what I would consider like the best of the bunch. So maybe this is one point where Miss Universe Philippines might be a little bit out of step. I'm not sure if this was entirely judged by a panel or if this was partly fan votes from the last challenges. It seems like it has been fan votes, but I'm trying to understand the mindset of the people that made this decision for that top 4, because it is so drastically different from mine, and I'm struggling to make it make sense. So you guys in the comment section, let me know what you think happened, or maybe I'm just entirely out of line with the people that made these decisions. But let's just get into the list and we'll see how it falls. Now, before we get into my top 13, I do want to read through some of the notes that I made in this book, because interview is pretty long. There's a lot of women, and I didn't really want to forget who my favorites are, who I was listening to, and what my thoughts were on each individual woman. And there are a few women that I think would be good to go through. Even though they didn't make my top 13, they're good to discuss. Aklan was the first woman that we all saw in interview. And my notes for her were, her thoughts were not streamlined. They weren't smooth. There was a lot of stammers. There's a lot of ums. This is a good example of what I mean when I'm always saying your thoughts should be streamlined. They should be well put. You don't want to have a lot of pauses. You don't want to have a lot of stops, because then you're disrupting the flow of your interview and you're breaking the focus of your audience. Aklan is a good example of that. Baguio City is a woman that presents with a lot of personality. Her personality is always on display. But when I'm listening to her in this interview, it didn't seem natural. It didn't seem like it was completely authentic. It didn't feel conversational. It felt like she was in a Q&A answer round, like on stage. It felt like she was trying to ace a Q&A game and not necessarily have a conversation with her audience. And that can be a bit jolting to people listening to you. And there are other women that also behaved that way. I have notes on Cebu Province, which is a woman that actually speaks very well, but she sounds very pageanty, meaning we all know the sound of when a woman is trying to give like an on-stage answer and she's trying to sound very cute and eloquent, and it's coming off unnaturally. For example, if I'm talking about Cebu Province in a pageanty way, though I believe it is important to support all women, Cebu Province is a standout woman that speaks very well, and I am assured of her placement in Miss Universe Philippines. That's a very pageanty sounding answer. And you guys, I think no matter how nicely I can present that statement, you guys would know that that's very pageant patty. That seems kind of forced and it's a little inauthentic. It is devoid of my natural personality. It's almost devoid of even my natural voice. So you really have to look out for that. And I promise you, even experienced judges or even possibly pageant queens that are participating as judges, they're going to pick up on that. Northern Samar was driving me nuts. Even though she has very streamlined thoughts, she could not stop fidgeting. She was like doing this head shake like the whole time. It was driving me nuts. And I just wanted to hit pause on her body. Like, just be still, because it's a distracting tick to have when we're trying to pay attention to your words. We're looking at your face and your head's going like this and things are happening. That's just something I wrote down in here. I have a lot of notes, so I'm not going to read all of them, but I'm reading some of them. Pangasinan, you're gorgeous. You're gorgeous. I watched her in this interview and I'm like, oh my God, she's so stunning. And I don't know what it was about her that really made me like her. Her interview wasn't, I couldn't put it on the top 13 because it didn't seem like she was calm. Some of these women did not seem calm. They seem agitated. They seem frustrated. They seem rushed. They seem like they were in a question and answer round trying to fire off good answers instead of having a conversation. Pangasinan was driving me nuts with that because I wanted so badly to love her. She looked so amazing. And by the way, who the hell bullied you? I want to know. Send them to me. Who bullied you for your supposed bad looks? Okay? Because they couldn't judge a cheese sandwich. What do you mean people bullied you for your looks? You? I would like to have words with these people, Pangasinan, because, Rojas. We need to talk about Rojas. First of all, she was glistening. Baby girl's skin shines bright like a diamond. Do you wear makeup? She just seems like she flourishes in just her natural element. Like, the girl doesn't need much. So I'm curious to see what a full glam looks like on her because her natural is outstanding. But her interview drew me insane. Absolutely insane. Like, I was like, oh my God, Rojas. She seemed sleepy. She seemed low energy. What do I have here? Very sleepy, low energy. She did not have a lot of enthusiasm, and it made it so hard to watch. And once again, mom was in my room for some of these interviews, and my mom was like, what is this? You cannot present with lack of energy because it seems like you're bored. It seems like you don't want to be there. And whatever energy you put out to the audience, they're going to give you that energy in return. We are like a mirror. So if you're excited, we're excited. If you're happy, we're happy. If you seem bored and low energy, we're going to be bored and low energy. And Rojas, girl, that interview was painful. I have to be honest. Like, you guys have to put out energy in an interview, especially for a judging panel who likely is going to be sitting through interviews for hours. Those judges are going to be watching tens and sometimes even more than that. They'll be watching like 50 girls in a row, and they'll be sitting there for 3 hours watching women answer the same question constantly. It will get redundant. It will get boring, even for the judges. You want to engage them. Otherwise, in their brains, they're half asleep, and you might as well you might as well not have even come. Even after a judging panel watches 50 girls before you, when you start speaking, you should ignite their excitement. You should ignite their interest. Don't let the judges be sleeping on you because you're sleeping in front of them. This was a very tough challenge. Miss Universe Philippines has done right in picking women that are very eloquent and slightly more comfortable on camera than we have seen in previous years. I expected more women to be flustered. I expected more awkwardness. The batch as a whole is generally pretty good, which made judging this interview a lot more difficult. But I will say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6. The top 6 really are leagues above the rest. There's really a discernible difference between the top 6 and everybody else. So my list actually contains 13 women that I think made an impact during interview. And I really didn't want these 3 women to go overlooked. So I added them to the list because I legitimately do think that they deserve a little bit of recognition for their good demonstration during this challenge. Those 3 women are Passai, San Juan, and Cavite. I think Passai has improved when it comes to her speaking, and she's showing more personality, which was great to see. Yes, I said Passai right. Aren't we excited? I know, I'm learning things. I had a breakthrough. I realized that the S-A-Y, it's Sai, but a lot of other cities are like that. Like, I totally made a breakthrough in my pronunciation of some of these provinces. I think I'm doing better. Okay, back to Passai though. She's showing more personality, which is something that I asked for because you can't just be a slay queen. You can't just be a walk queen. We need to see more of you, queen. So I saw more personality coming from her, and I don't know why in my brain, because I'm American. It's because I'm American. Certain women that I expect to have an accent don't have an accent. And then I get other women who, for whatever reason, I didn't think would have an accent. And they do. Passai has like this really cute, like Filipina accent. And I'm like, I don't know why. It just didn't click in my head that she would have one, but it's so adorable and I didn't see it coming. She actually did better than I expected her to. San Juan speaks really well as well. though she tends to stray from the questions that were asked of her. She will stray away from what the focus should be and just start talking about other things. And I know we all do that. I've done it sometimes, but in a competition, or when you're giving even an interview on TV or news cameras or any type of person in front of you, you really want to stay on topic because they're asking these questions of you for a reason. And people legitimately do want to hear the answer. At number 10, I have Misamis Oriental. At number 9, I have Iloilo Province. Number 10 and number 9 seem to kind of present in the same way. It's almost a lecture style of interview where they're really good with their words. They're really good at presenting their ideas, but they're not doing it in a very charming, charismatic way. They're doing it almost in the style of a teacher, and it's not as engaging. It really feels like you're being talked to, not really engaged in a conversation as like you're a friend, which is really the feeling that you want to give off in a Miss Universe or most any pageant interview. You want the audience and the judging panel to feel comfortable talking to you, to want to talk to you, to feel engaged and drawn to you. When you leave the room, you want to leave them wanting more of you. Like they should be like, wait, I was having such a good conversation with this girl, bring her back. That's how you win people over. So even though they are very intellectual, they have, very good speaking skills, the engagement isn't necessarily there. So no matter how well you speak on camera, if you're not engaging, no one's going to want to listen to your otherwise very good ideas. At number 8, I have Bulacan Province. She actually displayed a little bit of personality during her interview. As we're going up the list, you'll see women who still have that speaking ability, but you'll see their personality coming out. And this is where we get the change of pace with Bulacan Province, where she does speak very well, but she's giving a bit more engagement. Though she's not as intellectual as some of the other ladies on the list, you want to listen to her. And that is pretty darn important. At number 7, I have Albay. See, this, I told you guys I made the connection. Albay, Passai. I'm getting it, right? I'm so excited. Okay. Albay, she got under my skin just a little bit because she was giving me Kim Kardashian vibes, the way that she was speaking. And I'm like, girl, you can't speak like that. You gotta queen up a little bit. But she still was being very natural. She was still like, she wasn't up there trying to give a lecture, trying to make points. She wasn't giving me that feeling of I'm competing in a pageant, which some other girls were giving me. They were sounding as if they were standing on stage making like Q&A points, or they were being asked Q&A questions on stage. Albay really was more relaxed and easygoing about it. At number 6, I have Dabel del Norte. I was pleasantly surprised by her. This is not one of the women that we've consistently been talking about, and this is what interview really does. Runway, stage presentation, that is some women's strengths, right? Interview is other women's strengths, and Dabel del Norte clearly was within her strength in this challenge. She presents her thoughts very well. There's no ums, there's no ahs, there's no stammering. She's a very easy speaker, but she's a very natural speaker. And this is where we get the shift of the women who are very intellectual, but presenting almost in a teacher capacity, to the women who are being easygoing friends, having a good conversation. From Dabel del Norte up, you get these women that are having very easygoing presentation. It's very easy to listen to them. It's very easy to be engaged in what they're saying. And then you're kind of surprised when they're gone and they're not there anymore. And you're like, I kind of wanted to hear more. Dabel del Norte, she starts it off. Her personality is just, it's there, it's bubbly, it's friendly, it's engaging. I just was able to sit back in my chair and listen to what she had to say. And all of her answers were very well put. And it seemed like they were very well thought out, as if these are things that she's considered before. And that is very important going into an interview setting. You don't want to get caught slipping. You don't want, and I have put this in my videos when we did the interview prep sheet, things you should know before going into an interview. There are certain things that you want to have thought about before you step foot in in front of any judging panel, in front of any interviewer. There's certain things about yourself, about your country, about your nation, about people, about social issues that you want to have considered before you step in front of an interview. So this didn't really seem like a challenge for her. It seems like these were easy topics of conversation for her to easily tackle. And she did it with grace and poise, and I loved it. Starting off the top 5, the woman who remains consistent, never lets me down. Are we surprised she's even here? Makati. Every time we have to go through this. I'm like, she's just like old reliable there. No matter what we go through, Makati's gonna be there. Her personality is present. She's easygoing, not flustered whatsoever. She's engaging like a friend, like a woman. I would like a little bit more energy from Makati. Some of the things that a lot of the other women were suffering from was just the fact that not that they weren't intellectual and didn't have good ideas. It just didn't seem like they were excited about what they were talking about. It kind of seemed like they were bored. And when you come off board, your audience is bored. Imagine if I just sat here and talked about pretty girls, but I talked about it in like a monotone, humdrum voice. Makati did very well. Basically, she's always reliable, never lets us down, and I think that she's likely to do very well. She definitely will make finals come Miss Universe Philippines competition. So we're going to keep an eye on Makati. Like, imagine if I had the audacity to talk about Miss Universe Philippines like I didn't want to be here. Okay? You guys have to enjoy what you're talking about. When you get excited, we're excited. That's what it means. That's the transfer of energy I'm talking about. Bring life and energy into whatever you're speaking, however you're speaking, whoever you're talking to should be infected by your happiness and your passion. Like, I don't care if you're talking about paint. Be happy about what you're talking about, okay? Moving up. Another woman that is very reliable, and I was honestly very surprised that she was not on like an interview winners challenge list. What? Huh? You guys overlooked Bahul. This is her strength. I think those of us who are, avid fans, I've been watching Miss Universe Philippines for a minute. How was she not included as one of the winners of the interview chat? Like, wait. She has always been a fabulous speaker. That's always been her strength. I was not surprised to see her easygoing nature, her flashes of a smile. She's sitting there having a conversation. It doesn't feel like she's being questioned. It feels like she's talking to me. And I like that. It's engaging. It makes me want to stay and listen to more. Look, from Bohol up, the fact that some of these women were left off of a winner's list, injustice. At number 3, the start of the criminality of the injustices that were dealt these top 3 women, Lapu Lapu. Her interview, oh my God. Oh my God. It felt so intimate. I love her voice. The gentleness of her voice, her easygoing speech pattern, I was like hypnotized. I was so pulled in. I felt like she was just like drawing me in, some sort of like vixen, some sort of like siren. She just pulled me in. Her voice, oh my God, her voice. Please read me bedtime stories, Lapu Lapu. If you listen to the way that she speaks, it felt intimate. Like I felt so, it's so hard to even explain. Like she just felt so gentle and caring. And all of her statements were very well put. When she was talking about the president, she emphasized the importance of uplifting women and wanting a leader that is going to empower women. And I do like the little bit of extraness that a lot of the women threw into this answer about the president. They were saying, for our leader, whoever the president is, whether it be he or she, a lot of the women stated that the president they were talking about could be a man or a woman. That was a very, very, very good thing to do, especially because I remember last year where there was this little tiff. Was it last year or was it the year before that? Rippy Mateo had said something about, women's leadership and contradicting the president who said, women can't be presidents or can't be leaders. And for whatever reason, people got mad at her for that. And I was like, shut up, because she's right. Like a lot of the women stated that women also have the ability to be a presidential leader. And I liked that. And I caught on to those of you who did do that. And that was a good thing to do. But Lapu Lapu, I just loved listening to her talk. Everything felt like she was reading out of a book. Oh God, I love listening to her. There's nothing else to say. Like, go listen to her interview. Her just the voice that she has and how easy the answers flow from her is so endearing. It's so engaging. It is so finals material. Lapu Lapu. At number 2, I have holy hell, a surprise of a woman. I did not see this coming whatsoever. At number 2, I have Cebu City. Cebu City. I didn't know. I didn't know. I wasn't ready. Cebu City, you speak like this? You speak like this? She was another woman who I'm just sitting here entranced by her vocal patterns, the gentleness and ease at what she look. I can't even speak right now. Y'all throwing off my speech patterns. Her speech pattern and the gentleness of her voice and how easy ideas come from her, it's incredibly enticing. It's so engaging. You're seeing her personality, everything about Cebu City and even Lapu Lapu. All these top 3 women and even Bohol, very natural. You never want an interview to feel forced. You never want to feel flustered. You never want to feel like you're out of place. You never want to have anxiety. There's certain women that I could see how scared and how anxious they were, and it made me feel scared and anxious. But for these women who are very at ease and calm, it made me feel at ease and calm. When they're happy, I'm happy. Your energy does have an effect on the audience and the judging panel. So you always want your energy to be very positive, slightly energetic, and natural. You always want to come off as authentic. Girl, Cebu City, so natural, felt so authentic. It felt like I was having a conversation with my friend. Perfect, like glorious. And there's only one woman above Cebu City, and that is Davao del Sur. Yes, she is on the top of the list once again. She's a very good speaker. Are we surprised? She topped the list in the introduction video, so we really shouldn't be surprised she's doing well in the interview. The reason I put her number 1 is because not only does she have the gentle, easygoing friendship nature that Bohol, Lapu Lapu, and Cebu City also brought, she has an infectious, energetic personality. I ran this by my mother too, because I like to see what she has to say as well. I was like, hey mom, what do you think of this? And my mom even said, she's like, it sounds like she's talking to a friend. It sounds like, she's just having a conversation with a girlfriend. That is what you want. That is the feel that you want to give off. Whenever we see a Miss Universe Philippines on camera, no matter what type of interview she's giving, she always seems like she's comfortable. She always seems like she has no problem having this conversation with whoever she's speaking to. And she's never flustered. She's never anxious. She really seems like she enjoys where she's at and what she's doing and what she's talking about. Perfect, Davao del Sur. She seemed like she was happy to be there and happy to conversate and happy to, impart knowledge to the world. And I was happy to hear her speak. And I was just like, this is such a Miss Universe. This is such a Miss Universe interview. I can't even say Miss Universe Philippines. This is such a Miss Universe interview. She's giving me like Zoe vibe. She's giving me like any Miss Universe that I've ever seen speak on camera. That's exactly how Davao del Sur was talking to me. And I loved it so much. And I love her energy and the personality. And she just, every time I see her, because she's always energetic and happy, it makes me energetic and happy. And you guys are probably like, well, you're always energetic and happy. Imagine adding extra sauce on top of my already happy nature. That's what she does to me. So I love that personality. I love it so much. So Davao del Sur is my number 1 for the interview challenge. I do believe you top 5 women were done an injustice. You guys didn't put any of these 5 women on the leaderboard. Not any of them. Do you know what you're looking for like someone who interviews well? I feel like maybe there's a little bit of out of touchness happening. People are not understanding what makes a good interview. A good interview is not a woman that's simply smart. We love intelligent women, but if all you can do is lecture and you can't really engage an audience, that's not a Miss Universe. A Miss Universe is engaging. A Miss Universe can make any topic seem exciting and fun. A Miss Universe is always happy to be with you, happy to talk to you and treat you like a friend. I don't want a teacher. I want like a friend that can just give me knowledge and that I leave feeling happier about my day and having learned something. That's what we want. Can you get it together? You ladies did outstanding. I really have to look. Bohol, Lapu Lapu, Cebu City, Davao del Sur, outstanding. Floored. Amazing. I'm gonna give you the justice that you weren't given, okay? Claps for you. In the comment section below, let me know what you guys think about the interview challenge. Who did you think did the best? What are you personally thinking is the best traits and ways to give a good interview? Pass your ideas along. I would love to see what you guys have to say. I honestly have to say, I would be floored. I would be absolutely floored if people were like, no, I want someone who treats interviews like a college professor and just lectures at me instead of engaging with me. Like, interviews, in my opinion, should feel like a conversation, not necessarily, you know, a question and answer round on stage. Go. I feel like that makes everything uncomfortable. But let me know what your personal opinion is in the comment section below. Remember to give the video a thumbs up. And don't worry, I love you and I will miss you, but you know I will be back in a future video. Bye!